my cousins were born in America like me, but they would eat breakfast on top of the rest of the meals, and I was like, I can't eat this much during the day.
Yeah, and then the dinner itself, like the different dishes, if there's more than one dish, it's all at once.
Yeah.
It's not like.
It's like a big buffet.
Yeah, right. So you don't have a salad course and then a soup course. No, it's just out there. It's all served, and that's part of what's represented here, is that you have all the elements and that you assemble it yourself on your plate. So how much hierarchy is there within this, as far as first one thing then another? Less so, right? Yeah, because you've got the different dishes and you can eat. It's all there at once, which is a little different from in a restaurant meal here. Have you ever ordered dessert first, like from that part? Awesome. And then what did you have after that? A regular dinner, but you had the dessert first. My mother always used to say that you should, if you're going to have dessert, you should eat it first, because you might get full with the other food, and if she's unusual.
I mean, they'd be charging for dessert, so I'd just be like, I just want a meal.
Yeah, right. But there is that sequence and everything. Okay. So it's a different sort of way of organizing. And then finally with these Indian cookbooks, I think I'm probably just going to end with the Indian discussion and not go into this other one. That with the rise of this sort of glimpse of a lot of regions, and that they're all aimed at particular audiences, and that in some ways he saw them reinforcing boundaries more than they were crossing them, because they were reinforcing these stereotypes and so forth. I'm gonna end it there, and I can talk about the Thai example some other time, because I want y'all to. Did anybody bring a cookbook? You brought one? Is anybody a fluent Spanish reader in this class? Yeah? Okay. And if, so I've got one Salvadoran cookbook that's a hoot. I mean, it's great. And so if you want to work with that, with a couple other people, break up into groups of 3. And I've got enough cookbooks to go around. So, and move the tables so you're facing each other. And do y'all have your pages from last time with these different issues? Okay, I've got copies. But if you have your pages from last time, you can just pull that out, and then we're going to do this, and I'm going to give you examples. And I want you to think about what you can learn about the social context of things. So, yeah, move the tables. Come on, break it up. You can have more cake if you want. And you can go questions if you want to.
My parents
All right. So Quinn, y'all got one. Come up and choose, or do you want me to distribute? So 3. got French cooking. That one?
Can I get one of these sheets?
Yeah,
Thank you.
take that. Who needs a cookbook?
Something about milk. Sorry for the shouting. This is really
And I feel like it's a lot of stuff for there's no way. They might put berries like that.
So with the cookbooks, first look at the organization. What are the categories? What do those categories imply? Flip through a few recipes, get an idea of the kinds of foods and the kinds of descriptions and actions, and think about who do you think this is aimed towards? Who are they assuming is going to be reading this and using this? And what sort of assumptions do they make about that?
It talks about like this particular blogs. It's talking about like grease and
for like every meal, or is it just I feel like maybe like dinner, breakfast, snack time, sandwiches and stuff. Salads, so a little bit of
Like southern. I always want to like.
I know, that sounds disgusting. Teresa versus nacho. It's the nachos that kills it.
Well, I definitely read the book. It's terrible. So I would say you're gonna read more. Give us a blog.
Oh, okay. So hold up and say, hey, this one is really amazingly Asian. You know, I keep it as an artifact.
It's like regular gumbo cheese alive.
It's like some of those ads.
Is it fried?
Okay, then it's
Oh yeah? Where's that?
I think these are all from like related cheese in there.
That's good.
Some people could take the I have to leave the butter out. It's an interesting book.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of
This is like a very pungent sort of cookbook.
Oh yeah. Have you ever heard of her before?
No, Jessica Margin, huh?
Yeah. All of her she
Okay.
like typical dishes maybe. Deliciously.
All right. Well, that's great.
It's just,
Yeah, exactly.
a can of crushed pineapple. They're already so sugary.
And then you put the cheese. It's flour, butter, so it's basically, you know, what's the texture? It's gonna be the beef
That's a big part.
Well, I think that with the yeah, I'm wondering if it's gonna be like a well, almost like a pretty cut. Oh, like a corn cheese and eggs. Yeah. So I think it's supposed to be sort of like a corn, but it's cheese. Cheese, pineapple.
There's more cheese there.
This is that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is yeah, that's the last one. So that's to my my husband's parents.
And they laugh. They were like,
Next Bible. Oh, there's your
they should have had a Bible name. They should have had a Bible name. That would have been
She's fine. I think so. Some of it's just cut off. There's some very famous authors.
Didn't have enough cookbooks. No one chose the McLean County cookbook.
Oh, here's a half a picture. It's like sweet salad.
And so the thing.
recipes and a lot of
It was weird because he's talking about how like popcorn carry food, but then he's talking about celery beans and should take like an hour and a half.
That's all. Oh, yeah. Green beans. It's like part of the main.
How are you doing?
We're very hungry.
It happens like a lot of delis, yeah. It's like you're buying the paprika. In some cases, they have stuffed burgers. Yeah. I've never got them from there. I feel like, yeah, I want to look at the like man. I don't know what that means. All these burnt almond.
Okay.
Lobster. Yeah, I would say that you would. It's like a dismal. It's like. I think it's like something.
Yeah.
When you cook it,
So there's like whips.
you would
Yeah, whips.
What's the last name? Oh, it says rotating, but it doesn't say rotating. Chicken liver. Anderson.
Shrimp bowl?
Well, it says it's
Yeah, bowl
out.
should not be.
I I think it's like shaped. Oh, because it's gelatin, like it's made into still do it's chicken livers again. With like the weirdest stuff. There is bacon. Yeah. Shrimp roll. Yeah. Have you had shrimp bowl?
Is it like a crab cake?
No, because it's something like you dip a cracker into. So instead of, yeah. So what does it have in it?
2 cans of shrimp.
Yeah.
Cream cheese, lemon juice, grated onion, horseradish.
So it's like a
Just
ball
seems
of
like a
cream
dish.
cheese with the seafood in it. Dip a cracker.
Well, no, you need a combination.
Oh, yeah.
We were watching Hell's Kitchen the other day, and the first recipe that they said was, I made these recipes to show you. This girl made Chef Ramsay pasta with like not noodles and canned
Well, especially that kind of cookie. Okay, let's have a report from the different groups. Last time I started on that side, right? So we'll start over here and hold up your cookbook if you can, or describe it, and give us a couple highlights.
This is a Chinese style cookbook, and we kind of figured out that it's like actually like American. It's like made for like, well, more specifically, it's made for like English speaking people,
Mm-hmm.
because the whole book is like written in English, and they're like, where's the context? They're like really simple ones too. It's like how to use chopsticks. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's probably for like Americans. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, you know, you wouldn't have to teach like Chinese people how to like use a chopstick.
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like Americanized Chinese food, like pretty much. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. But is it entirely in
No, there's
English?
some Chinese writing.
Yeah. Hold it up. So you have the name of the dish written in Chinese characters. And so there are these questions about authenticity and how do you show authenticity. Well, you know, some of that is helping maybe suggest that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Back there?
We have a cookbook that features Salvadoran cuisine, and it's all just written all in Spanish. It's interesting to note that there's a bigger list of ingredients and a little amount of instructions, so it doesn't seem like we just have to throw everything together and cook it. In the beginning, it shows like different ways to set your table and your position, which
Yeah, where the plate's supposed to go and the silverware and all that. So it's an instruction and service, and they're maybe thinking that the readers of this will need that information. Yeah. What about ingredients? Did you see any that kind of stuck out to you?
A lot that I don't recognize because my Spanish isn't very good.
Okay. Yeah. You have a question?
Yeah, when you say that cookbook is kind of like for like restaurants or something, like it probably like insinuates that there is somebody who is like working in the food department or whatever, so you need to know where to set tables.
What do you think? Why do you think they're explaining how to set tables? What's your guess from the way where it occurs in the cookbook? And
Maybe the types of dishes that are going to be served.
Even if Betty Crocker, it shows, Betty Crocker cookbook, it shows how to set a table and full napkins.
Mhm.
So it might just be
etiquette for at home.
etiquette for at home.
Yeah, and so it's maybe addressing questions of whether that etiquette has been taught, is just like not everybody's going to know how to use chopsticks. well, it's the same sort of thing. Well, not everybody. This is something I work on with my kids. It's like, why did you put the fork on that? You know, it goes over here, and then it's like totally wild. They deal it like cards or something. But it's that sort of thing about how, you know, how ingrained is that within the household. Okay, we have historic.
We did The Young Housekeeper, which was written in 1846, and it was written by a male physician, doctor, and it is definitely targeted towards women. And he talks about how you shouldn't spend a lot of time preparing food because that's a waste of time. Instead, you should be, well, he says that applied by the housekeeper herself, she should try to improve the physical, moral, and social improvement of the family. But yet he'll say that you need to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours boiling.
So you're doomed to fail.
Yeah. He uses hardly any spices at all. It's like a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar, that's about it.
Oh, that's it? Really? Wow.
Yeah, very plain and simple dishes.
Okay. Okay. How about here?
So we had Revolution, and it's the Dallas Opera Guild book, and it's clearly like Texas area, and then there's Mexican cuisine in here, but through the eyes of like Texans, and they're individual people who put in their own recipes, so it differs on how descriptive they are with the order of things, styles. Like it could be the same recipe or the same dish but different recipes.
So you have repeats, whereas in some of these single author things, compilations, it would seem sort of weird. But that it makes sense because it's all these people contributing to it. Yeah. Anything else about it?
The one with Lisa Louis, they gave a pretty thorough detail. They gave all the ingredients and the steps to do it in a nice measurements form, but also requires you to know what happens to agree. I just take it
To have it.
and then also I gave any wording description of how everything was supposed to look and the steps. As I said, they differ because the next page there was one that barely had anything running. Just gave the ingredients from there.
Okay. All right. Right there.
We had the joy of cooking. I don't know wrong here. It was made in 1931 was the first copyright, and this edition is 1995. That's kind of. And then the contents, it literally goes from like beverages to soups, to fish, to game, to like desserts. It's literally like an encyclopedia of cooking for like Americans. And we specifically chose game because we thought that would be interesting. I'm going to read something real quick though. And we looked at game and we saw this squirrel, and it's like a picture of a squirrel like being skinned. It's pretty interesting. So to skin, you don gloves to avoid possible tularemia infection. Cut the tailbone. You hold the squirrel by the tail and then cut the skin. The width of the back. Turn the squirrel over on its back and step on the base of the tail. Hold the hind legs with one hand and pull steadily and slowly, as shown in the sketch, until the skin has worked itself over the front legs and head. Yeah, so it's pretty specific. It's pretty straightforward, and it literally like gives you a step-by-step guide and illustrations to prepping squirrel, and that's in a couple of other chapters too. Like I just turned to savory sauces, and it shows you like what types of like things you would carry your sauce in, how to get in. And then, I don't know, for a game, it kind of assumes that you would go out and kill the squirrel. That's like the only real assumption it is, because like literally it tells you how to prepare it, how to skin it, and how to prepare it, and it tells you can go back to other pages for squirrel, like you can look how to roast squirrels, like pigeons on another page. You can go look at pigeons and learn how to cook squirrel based on how you cook pigeon.
So Apocalypse Cookbook.
So yeah, it's like how many pages? It's like
0.6.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's just like 800 plus pages. And it's just like the encyclopedia.
Everything and lots of variations within that. Yeah.
I used to sit in high school And they would just sit on their back porch and just shoot them. And it took forever for them to like skin them, and, you know, for this little tiny piece of meat. There was like nothing there. And they could not get all the hair out of them. So they would eat this meat with like little pieces of hair. And they were like, no.
Yeah, it's important.
There's no meat, barely. I'm like, go shoot a deer, and that would be gone all of that work you just did versus that amount of work you just did for carrying.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe they need to read The Joy of Cooking. It would improve their technique. And you can think about what's happening in the U.S. in 1930. What's happening in the U.S. in 1930?
Also,
So
show
that's
people how
what
to be
he's talking
self-sustaining.
Yeah, live off the land.
Yeah.
This world.
Well, and the thing is, it's that thorough with every possible food, every possible preparation. So it's really making and understanding the most you can out of whatever you might happen to have. And the idea is that this is home cooking too, right? So you're doing all this stuff at home, and it's explaining how to do it. So in some ways, it's a survival manual. Yeah. Okay, we'll skip back to the corner.
We have Simca's cuisine, which is like essentially making French cooking like accessible to Americans. It's organized by events, so it's like informal occasions, more formal occasions, and special occasions, and then it has like different recipes depending on that. It's definitely for like a housewife trying to entertain, like make French food for multiple, because all the recipes are for like 6 to 12 people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's very detailed. Like she lists all the ingredients most of the time in French and in English, and then in English she explains how to do everything in paragraph by paragraph. Like this is just one recipe.
And this was published around a little bit later than Joy of Cooking.
Yeah, 1972.
Yeah. Okay, here. Let's go here.
So we got all about homemaking from 36. So it's very guided towards housewives, very gendered. In the contents, it even says something about housewives. It's a wise woman who knows her baking rules. So know your baking rules, I suppose. And then the recipes in here are pretty short. Usually like 4 or 5 steps, maybe about half a paragraph each with a few pictures on the opposite side. And this was obviously like somebody who was ads in here from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
So we found one that expired November like 7th of 49. So rip that coupon. But yeah, that's what we got.
What about ingredients?
It's all fairly plain, a lot of flour, a lot of sugar. I mean, it's baking, so it seems pretty basic and leaves a little room open for you to be a little creative, I suppose, if you feel like it. But a lot of this is like, oh, just you gotta hurry up. Like one's called emergency biscuits. So.
Got to deal with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say the reason why those recipes are probably so short because they want the woman to hurry up and have it done. The husband come home.
It was Miss Jemmy White. So whoever that is, her book.
Okay, that'd be a nice contrast with y'all's. What is?
Yeah, we had the Jackson Cookbook. It's published by the Symphony League of Jackson. It actually talks about a lot of like Jackson, Mississippi histories kind of strewn throughout there. It was published in 1971, the first one. It's kind of like laid out like The Joy of Cooking, where it's like goes from like drinks, appetizers, throughout dessert. There is a section titled Men Recipes, which we thought initially was like for men, but now that I'm looking at them, they're from men, because all the other ones were like from women.
Yeah.
So since they're like individuals' own recipes, they do vary in like instructions. Some of them Like this one literally has a couple ingredients and then there's like one sentence of how to cook it. And so some of them are different. It's like just a lot of like southern, like home.
What is there one that stood out to y'all as you were looking at it?
There's one. Oh, the pineapple. Oh, scalloped pineapples. Like, and it had a can of pineapples, half a pound of cheese, half a pound of flour, and sugar. So that's interesting.
Yeah, we noticed that like it was separated from the time Jackson was taking over, like was traditionally like it talks about like how the culture changed, how it was just like southern, you would think a lot of black people, and then like then it started getting a lot more like fancy or classier and stuff when they talk about like white recipes.
They said they would like eat exquisitely at houses and stuff, so other people were coming besides.
Yeah, at the first we talking about like gumbo and like stuff like that, and then we started talking about like caviar.
But some of the fancier stuff isn't really fancy, like it's all canned. And, like, not really good quality.
Well, but that's what fancy was then.
Yeah.
So, okay, last one.
We did Seriously Delish, which was published in 2014. And the layout that she has is basically everything from snacks to drinks to brunch to things on toast kind of stuff. And so a lot of her recipes take like simple foods and then, as she says it on her blog, trashes them up deliciously. So like the average person would probably just make corn with butter, but she makes it with basil butter and smoked paprika and grills it. So she just takes what is normal and then makes it take a little bit longer with more spices and more flavor. So people, as we were kind of saying, like people that are more adventurous with their cooking would probably be attracted to this book more so than people that are looking to just like fit dinner on the table.
So this is not aimed at the sort of 70 to 80-year-old crowd necessarily.
No, probably more like foodies and like people that are like really interested in trying new things.
Yeah, and maybe more urban. Okay, great. Have a great weekend.